this is Sophie Lawson from sophielawson.com, and this is episode 12 of the So Free Art podcast, which is a little podcast about art and tings. And this one is going to be, I think it'll probably be another little one, and it's going to be about minimalism, which is something I've never really looked into before. I didn't plan on sort of doing this, but I just fell into it quite naturally over the last week, really. So I thought I'd do a little podcast about it. And minimalism is basically decluttering your life, really. And this came about because I was trying to focus on stuff, and I just felt like I had millions of things coming at me from all directions, even like not just in my room, because my room has got, because I live in a shared house, so I've only got one room. So I was getting a bit overwhelmed with all of the art stuff calling my attention. But it wasn't just that, it was also like the electrical stuff, like social media, my iPhone, like the apps and stuff. So this has been a lot more than just decluttering my room. It's also been like my devices. So I started out a couple of weeks ago having this insane feeling that I didn't want to be, or maybe I just needed a break from like social media. So I decided to take myself off of like Facebook and stuff, and I've deleted it all off my phone, and I've felt so much better since doing that. It feels weird because there are times when you do something and you think, oh, I'm going to post that online. And then you realise you're not on there. And it's a weird feeling actually, but it's also really nice because it means that you're just doing things for the fun of doing it, instead of feeling like you have to tell everyone what you're doing, which I think is a bit silly really when you think about it. And I was thinking, like, when was the last time you actually went out, like into nature or something, and you did something without sharing it online? Because I think we've got to a place where we're sharing everything all the time, and it does take you out of the moment. So I have noticed this past week especially, I've been a lot more sort of in the world. Like I haven't been distracted by anything, and I've just been able to really appreciate the moment, which sounds a bit weird, but that's the way it is. So it started with this social media, and I felt so much better. And then because I decided to get rid of the PC and get a Surface Pro, and when I did that I started to realise that I liked the space instead of all of these things like around me. And then I can't remember how, but I ended up watching a video on YouTube about minimalism, and I just thought that's what I need. So this past week I have started getting rid of stuff from my room, and I'm nowhere near completed, but already I can feel it. I just feel a lot more. It's hard to explain. It's just like it's a lot more peaceful, I guess. So I started with my. I've got like a mantelpiece by my bed, and it ended up getting like covered with little action figures and like photo frames and everything. So I just took everything off, and there's now only 2 photos up there, and that's it really. And so there's a lot more space, and it just looks and feels a lot nicer. So once I did that, and I thought I really like that, that's when I started thinking, I'm actually going to do this over the whole room. So then I moved on to my chest of drawers, and I started bagging up clothes, and then I moved on to these like little brown boxes I've got with the little boxes you can sit on, but you can open them up, and inside I've got one of them's quite big and it's full of high heels. Another one's full of tights and wigs and stuff. So I've just been going through those and putting everything into bags, which is really hard because I look at the shoes and I think I'm going to wear them one day. But the thing is, I've had those shoes for like a couple of years now and I've never worn them, so I've just been quite ruthless, and I've ended up already with 4 really big giant bin bags full of clothes, which I'm going to take up to the charity shop. And I haven't even started under the bed yet because I've got loads of clothes just thrown under the bed. But I did the wardrobe yesterday, and that's quite amazing because before I couldn't even really go into the wardrobe because I had so many clothes in there that they were actually overflowing out of the wardrobe. So it meant that I never really bothered going into the wardrobe. So in a weird way, even though I had loads of stuff in there, I didn't really have anything because I didn't want to go in there. And since I've moved everything out, I've got less stuff in there, but it feels like I've got more because I can actually see what I've got. And like today, I'm wearing a little denim dress, which has been in that wardrobe, and I pretty much forgot I had it because I couldn't even see it. So I can just see what I've got now, and I've got so much stuff that I'm never going to wear. So I thought, let's just get rid of this. And it feels really nice. Like I said, it feels really nice. So tomorrow I'm going to be sorting out under the bed, which that's going to be quite scary because there's so many clothes under there. And then another one is the documents that I'd been saving up, all these letters from the gender clinic and the doctors, and a big pile of letters, and I was able to just pick them all up and throw them away. And it's amazing how much stuff I've gathered, which is there's no need for it really. So I'm already seeing the benefits of that. And even with my art supplies, I had another one of those little brown boxes full of art supplies, and I've never used them, and there was so much stuff in there that I couldn't even see what I had anyway, like the clothes. So what I did was I got 2 little plastic boxes, and I said, one of those is for pencils, one of those is for pens. And what I did was I unpackaged all of my pencils because I'd kept them in the packaging, which was another thing. It's I kept them in the package thinking I'll open it when I'm going to use it, and then I thought, well, I don't want to open it until I use it, and I was sort of not wanting to use it because it wasn't opened, which is funny. But so what I did was I forced myself to open one, and I realised it was quite fun, and then I just went and opened everything, and I said, if the pencil can't fit in that box, I'm going to have to get rid of it. And I did the same with the pens. So I've now got a box full of pencils that I will actually use, and pens that I will use, and a load of pencils that I've basically just put into bags and I'll give to the charity shop. And I'm going to do the same with my bookshelf. So I've still got to do my bookshelf. I've got to do the under the bed, which is going to be insane. And then I've got my art desk, and I also want to do the walls and stuff. So hopefully over the next couple of days I can get this all done. It was quite hard at first to get rid of things because I had this feeling of I might want that. But I turned it into a little game, and I basically said to myself, I want to be able to focus on my drawing, so I need less distractions. So instead of focusing on wanting to keep that because I might use it, I focused on getting rid of stuff so that I can focus on what I really want to be doing, which is doing more drawings and stuff. So again, it was one of those things where I just shifted the focus away from thinking about keeping the thing to the reason of why I'm getting rid of it, and I made that more powerful than wanting to hold on to things. And it made it quite easy after the first couple of items that I put into bag. It became a lot of fun actually getting rid of stuff. But the hardest bit was saying I'm going to not do anything but declutter this room, because I felt a little bit guilty at first, thinking I've got to be doing some drawing, I've got to be reading, I've got to be doing this and I've got to be doing that. But I said no, I'm going to focus on getting rid of everything, because then I can actually focus properly on doing my drawing, instead of doing my drawing and thinking I've got to get rid of everything, I just wanted to be able to focus on one thing, which is at the moment getting rid of stuff. And I can already see the benefits of it, because it's just really nice having space between things. So the shelf that's by my bed, I basically removed all of the toiletries that was up there, put them into a bag, and put the bag into the cupboard in the passage. It's hard to explain how it feels to look at a shelf and it not be cluttered with stuff. It is very true that it sort of makes your brain feel less cluttered as well. So like at the moment I'm looking at my bookshelf and it's just full of books and it looks chaotic and it just feels like chaos really. So I think tomorrow, when I get that bookshelf sorted out, I imagine because I'll have less books on there, I imagine I'll look at the bookshelf and I'll feel a lot more sort of peaceful really. So I can definitely feel this is going to be really, really good. And again, with the social media thing, I'm just enjoying it at the moment, not having the pressure and the feeling of wanting to check Facebook and stuff. It does feel weird in that you do feel disconnected from like people, but I don't know, I just enjoy the freedom of like that, not being tied to that anymore. And I don't know whether I'm going to go back to it really. I'm thinking actually, what I was thinking was instead of trying to be on all of these different like platforms and not really doing anything on any of them, I'm going to actually just focus on YouTube. Because the reason I like YouTube is because you're actually making videos, and it means I know it's a lot of hard work because I used to do videos all the time, so there is a lot of hard work involved with making videos, but it's probably the most rewarding one because you're actually creating things. So I think I'm going to pick just one platform like YouTube and bring it back into my life and not worry about the other ones. So again, I think it's like a less is more thing, and I think I would then be able to focus fully on that instead of like splitting off into all these different like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Instead of trying to do everything, I'm just going to do one. I think that's going to be quite nice. Again, it's like a balance thing. It's finding balance. And what I've noticed is I tend to go to extremes and then bring it back and find the place in the middle of balance. And I did that with my transition, where I went full into it with like wearing wigs and loads of makeup, but it didn't feel right and it didn't feel like me. So that was one extreme. So I brought it back and I dropped the wigs and I did less makeup, where I only do my eye makeup now, and that's like the nice balance place where it's sort of in the middle. I'm not trying to be something I'm not with that, and I think that's sort of the same with possessions and stuff, with material things. So what I was saying was the hardest bit has actually been saying no to everything else while I'm focusing on getting rid of everything, because there is part of me that feels a bit guilty for not doing drawing and stuff, especially with the Surface Pro calling my attention. I did spend a day messing about with it in the week, because when I disconnected the PC, before I did that, I had to copy all the programs onto the Surface Pro, so I put like Photoshop on there and stuff, and I played around for a couple of hours just doing some sketching, and I really, really enjoy that. I'm going to enjoy that, I can tell. It still feels very alien, because it's not like a normal tablet, but I'm slowly getting better at that. And there was also a bug with Windows 10, with the latest update. They've done some sort of error where they've done they've done something which has produced a bug where if you're drawing on a touchscreen with Windows 10, when you put the pen onto the screen, it somehow starts moving the canvas instead of drawing. It starts moving the canvas, and it is actually a bug. I thought it was me. I thought it was actually my Surface Pro, but it is a bug, and I found a solution to that. I'll put a link in the show notes. So basically, that's where I'm at at the moment. I'm at a little sort of phase of wanting to get rid of everything, and I think it's going to help with focus and finding like balance in the future. And it's just nice to be able to get into my wardrobe more than anything. It's actually quite funny because during one of my automatic writings, it said to me, less tings, more you. And I can definitely feel that that is true. And I think that's it really for this podcast. It was just a little one. And hopefully I'll be fully into my Surface Pro by next week. And I can start talking about some of the sort of experiences with drawing on that. That would be nice. And I think that's it really. So if you have any questions or anything, you can send me a message on sophie@sophielawson.com. You can find show notes at sofreeart.com. And I think that's it. Next week's will be episode 13. And this week's quote goes to Rūmī. That's Rumi. And it is, life is a balance between holding on and letting go. Rūmī. You still have this habit of picking your phone out and you sort of go onto Facebook or something and you realise that the app's not there anymore, so you sort of have to put your phone back because there's nothing on it. And then you think, well, let's just instead just watch the world instead of that.